everyone, and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires today with Red Bull Wololo over, and the interest in Empire Wars perhaps waning a little bit. I figured it might not be a bad time to reintroduce everybody to the deathmatch mode of the game, and so we sit down to watch Frost9 playing as the Malians in teals, taking on Maldhar playing as the Persians in blue. Now, while the players basically build their infrastructure, no need to explore their surroundings, because like Rage Force, this map is played on visible, or explored. And as you see, we're already in Imperial Age. Not a bad time for me to actually explain what the hell deathmatch actually is, for those of you who may not know why we are starting in post-Imperial with halberdiers, hussars, and even cavaliers with, you see here, Farimba already researched. Deathmatch is a super cool form of the game where everyone starts in the Imperial Age with all technologies already available and researched, all upgrades already researched, all technologies already available. Everyone starts the game with 20,000 wood, 20,000 food, 10,000 gold, 5,000 stone. But before you think that actually sounds like a lot, hey, I'm starting the game with 55,000 resources and already citadels for the Persian. You'll see hopefully in a second that may not necessarily be as good as you think it is, because especially when you're playing as the Persians, especially when your unique unit costs 85 gold and 170 food, you can blow through that bankroll in a matter of seconds like a degenerate at the high limit room of a casino. Now, because players start in Imperial, generally the action starts right away, although, as we see here, it looks like it is our Malian who is pressing in with some of the heavy Farimba heavy camels, cavaliers, bombard cannons. Name of the game against the Persians is stop them before they can get out a significant number of war elephants. Maldhar, though, for now, sitting on about a third of the army count of his opponent. Frost9, currently the #1 best ranked, or highest ranked deathmatch player. Maldhar, I believe, a fellow Canadian. Frost9, I believe, from Sweden. Maldhar is, I believe, 4th or 5th. I believe 4th, but he is also a fellow Canadian. And so off the back of the other Canadian who did quite well in Red Bull Wololo, let's see if this particular Canadian, while being casted by a Canadian, can do well against the Swede. And if you take a look at the minimap, you'll see that already our Swede, by virtue of being the one pressing in and being incredibly aggressive, has already expanded his economy. Now, again, if you think 55,000 resources is a lot, take a look at Frost9's resources. He's down to a quarter of his wood, half his food, a third of his gold, and half of his stone. So the name of the game, like I said, is eco management galore, because if you push as hard as you can, and now with siege onagers as well, well, you may win, you may not win, but if you don't win and your opponent pushes back, if you don't have the eco to defend, you are up shit's creek without a paddle. Maldhar now, for his part, also adding 4 TCs. Both players sitting at 20 villagers a pop, still in the early stages of the game, still building up their armies. And one of my favorite features of deathmatch, in addition to all the super cool eco macro management you need, is the fact that you generally see a lot of the unique units of the civilizations. In this particular case, we're already up to 40 war elephants, going up to 77. But they're not engaging, which is giving Frost9 an opportunity. He's already destroyed all the forward barracks that were here, but in come the elephant, fully upgraded, 620 HP, 24 attack. No mahouts anymore. They naturally move a little bit slower. And let's see if Farimba camels, siege onagers, and basic pikemen are enough to stop this blue tide of waddly death. Good amount of conversion so far out of our Malian and teal. And here we go. It took 8 minutes, but the elephants are closing in on the onagers to their left. They have absolutely eaten up, like termites through wood, the Malian army to the front. And now Frost9's in a little bit of trouble. He is training 102 pikemen, but pikemen, I don't know, maybe Aztec pikemen, maybe Burmese pikemen. I'm not too sure that basic Malian pikemen with the extra pierce armor is going to do very much against these Persian monstrosities, these beasts, literal beasts, with their crazy trample damage and their insane HP and crazy attack. But here we go. Let's see how far Maldhar can push in here. Behind this, he's got not a lot to take down infrastructure. And to be fair, he is engaging in a lot of alleyways here. He is chasing a monk as he's getting poked. And there aren't enough. Remember, we are Malians, so we have Tigui, which means 8 arrows are being fired by a town center when it is ungarrisoned. And like I said, lots and lots of alleys here created by Frost 9. So even though Maldhar is pushing in and has the better army count, we'll see how long this elephant push can last. For now, 5 elephants have been converted. Still 33 blue elephants. I'm assuming a few of them are waddling forward, but no forward infrastructure out of Maldhar. Only 2 trebs at the moment. He has no gold whatsoever. Our Malian is out of food entirely. And so just like that, in 11 minutes, both players have absolutely spent all of their resources. Trash units now for our Malian, as all of a sudden, for the first time in 12 minutes, I don't hear the sound of a battle. Oh, there we go. There, it's back. More and more conversions, more and more pikemen are trying to stem the flow of these elephants. But to be fair, again, our Persian has not brought anything forward. No villagers, no infrastructure, no trebuchets. And just like that, the Persian assault has stopped. There's a lot of dead camels. Well, that's one absolute awesome element of Deathmatch. We just saw the absolute craziness of unique units and powerful units, although we didn't see any unique units for our Malian at the moment. And just like that, it is in fact our Malian who has more Persian war elephants than our Persian, who is going commander and crossbows out of currently 9 archery ranges being plopped down. To the rear, farming economy has gone up for our Persian. Farming gold, wood, all of it for our Malian as well. Remember, those Persian town centers do kick in already. We are in Imperial Age. So let me know if you what you think about this particular mode. This was my first love in Age of Empires when I started playing back in 1999, 2000, 2001. This deathmatch mode was my absolute favorite. Ooh, Citadel's bullets are gunning down. Remember, these bullets do come with an attack bonus against both infantry and rams. Look at that, +3 infantry. And look at that damage. 18 damage. Converted elephants. Free units. Basically being sent to clear out the heavy hitters of the Persian. And the heavy hitters, with the exception of the 2 bombard cannons up here, have been cleared up. No more elephants for anybody. 13 villagers on gold for one player, 14 for another. The economies are getting built. We're up to 100 villagers for our Persian, 74 for our Malian, who, again, wisely has chosen to add in a whole bunch of monasteries. Being able to convert your enemy's war elephants is an absolute crazy, crazy thing in this matchup against the Persians. The last thing you want to deal with, again, just a literal tank of a unit, fully upgraded right from the very get-go. But like I said, let me know what you think. A lot of people do like Dark Age. A lot of people do like feudal and castle and build orders and whatnot. And to be fair, this version of the game has its build orders as well, as we saw early on. Our Persian with barracks and castles, and our Malian straight for the stables. And let's see how well Commander N does against Farimba here, as holy moly, that's a lot of pikemen. Army count is double for our Malian, but again, it's just pikemen, and pikemen are not going to be able to engage underneath these castles with citadels. I see Gebetos are being added in as well, the mobile sniper unit. Another Treb falls for Frost 9. Maldhar is ahead in score. He's ahead in total villager population. He's down significantly in army count, but there's not much here that our Malian can do to press into these castles. Man, you just love that gunpowder firing noise. Now, the location of the castles is definitely interesting here for our Persian, as it looks like he wants to secure the eastern corner of the map with the presence of this Maginot line of castles. Ooh, we've got an elephant run by. We've got an elephant run by. They don't move fast, but man, oh man, can they pack a punch? Problem is, if he loses this castle to the north, all of a sudden his farm eco is completely exposed, and now he's adding monasteries as well. At this point, our Malian must see the slow but deadly attack. Again, I'm going to highlight 16 units. 16 units with 10,000 HP. Oh, Age of Empires. Gotta love it. Castle down. Farming eco exposed. These Gebetos can now run in and absolutely have a field day. That being said, so can these elephants. Maldhar has killed 37, 39, 41, 42. Every time I look down and want to say something, he has killed more and more villagers. And now Frost9 is just throwing away his pikemen. Why? Because back home... Well, I was looking at his queue of what he's training, but back home he's not training anything. He's just relying yet again on monks and alleyways to get rid of these elephants. Another conversion, possibly another conversion. Okay, so the elephant attack has stopped. Maldhar has been pushed back by a combination again of monks and alleyways. No clear way for this Persian army to engage. At the same time, his Farimba camels are running amok. That being said, villager kill count is still 50-7 in favor of our Persian, who now shoos away these Gebetos with the presence of no fewer than 10 more elephants. The attack completely stalled out. Villager lead still going to our Persian, who now has a Savar out on the field. How many stables did he build? I don't remember even seeing a single stable. Okay, here we go. They're brand new. And he is going a mixture of Hussar, Savar, and every other unit that ends in R, like a pirate strategy, in they close on the Gebetos. So now, a bit of a rebuilding time for both players, both of them sitting at triple-digit villagers. Might want to return home with your relic, Mr. Monk, before those Gebetos suss you out and gun you down with their Kapingas. It looks like he's going after the monks, but through an absolute forest of pikemen. Bombard cannons to snipe the monks. Wow, there's a lot of dead monks on the field, even more. And Frost has to be very, very careful. He can't keep pulling in his units into the castle radius. I'm surprised that he's engaging into this row of castles when the north is completely open now. That being said, that is exactly where Maldhar's army is, and Maldhar loses 2 more bombard cannons to conversions. I'm very curious to see what the conversion count is at the end of this game. What is going on with these elephants just bopping their heads up and down? Okay. 6 elephants for teal, 18 elephants for blue. Gebetos, looks like they did get the monk, but not before the monk did put the relic into the monastery. And finally, somebody's got some forward infrastructure. Our Swedish Malian with a very forward castle here. This one castle should fall, even though it's got 7,000 HP. The SARs are literally running an ass-paddling gauntlet of pikemen here. So both players tearing into each other's economies, but town center fire should be enough to clear up the last of the Gebetos. Elephants, crossbows, elephants, hussars. Our Persian is throwing whatever the hell he can at the rear of this Malian base, trying to dislodge this army to the front, maybe making it go back, maybe crippling the economy so much. But the Malian doesn't really need as many resources for their unique unit or their units at all as the Persian does if we keep going war elephants, and we are 27 minutes into the game still going war elephants. Frost9 has lost 68 villagers. Forward scorpions right underneath the castle, and Maldhar's gonna lose all of these. Gebetos moving in, sniping the ram, the biggest threat to this castle right now. Our Persian doesn't have enough gold for not only an elephant, but forget an elephant, a treb even. Or pardon me, that should have been the opposite. Forget a treb, not even an elephant, he didn't have enough gold. Oh, he does now, though. 30 villagers on gold. There are a few. We are, by the way, on Atacama, the map where there's a few forests in the center of the map, but not a lot of resources out in the middle of it and nowhere. I see a bit of gold and stone to the north. I see a bit of gold here to the east and a bit of stone to the rear. I believe that is the only additional patches, and we've got cav archers for our Persian now. You see how diverse your gameplay has to be if the initial assault doesn't win, or if the initial pushback doesn't win, or if the initial hold doesn't win you the game. You have to figure out counters to counters to counters, and not only that, you need the economy to support the counters, and always with the Persians have a backbone of elephants. That being said, the cav archers have just been absolutely slaughtered here by castles, pike, and converted elephants. I don't know how many trebs they managed to get, but Maldhar's push has stopped yet again. He does have more villagers than his opponent, not that many more, but still more, period. Hussars are going to go raid again. They're going to come across a siege onager. Will he notice? Will he notice? Neither player. No. Oh, wait a second. Did a bit of a loop-de-loop, a U-turn by Mr. Siege Onager to the center. More converted elephants falling. More pikemen being trained. Our Persian is up to 2,000 gold. He's got more gold than Frost9 has total resources, actually. Hussars sniping monks. Pikemen sniping Hussars. Crossbows sniping pikemen. Elephants trying to close in on everything. We're back to Farimba camels. 14 attack plus 18 against cavalry against those elephants. Looks like the Hussar run by to the back of the Malian base has been stopped as well. Trebs are moving forward. Frost9 is confident that he can not only hold this push but repel it. And so now he is moving out for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 9th time in the game. Army counts for both players are low. Persian does have 4 elephants. Our Malian also 4 elephants. Maldhar doing an amazing job closing in on these monks, throwing trash for gold. But in comes our Malian with a bit of a hit squad. 14 attack camels, not bad. Now, our Malian might want to train some light cavalry as well. With Farimba, I believe they do attack higher than the Hussar. Okay, attack stopped yet again. Camels, pikemen everywhere. But Citadel's castles for the win here, protecting the southern stretch of the Persian Empire. Trebs have not been repaired. Villagers are not being sent forward. No infrastructure for anybody. So these players just want to beat each other with their armies like baseball bats. In come the Hussars yet again, but they're not going to find an easy way to the monks this time. Gebetos and pikemen are in the way. Oh, and Gebetos are just going to shred through these crossbowmen. But remember, these are commander end crossbowmen. They cost no gold whatsoever. This is only 60 wood per crossbow that is being spent. It looks like, by the way, Frost9 is heading to that resource patch to the northwest side of the map. His army count is now 5 times the size of his opponent's, and it's not a bad army composition. He's got as many elephants as his opponent. Welcome to spellcasting in Age of Empires 2. Let's see if... Yeah, okay, so he's going after the gold first. There's some light cavalry. 14 attack on a light cavalry. Yikes. Only 1 Treb lives to tell the tale, but that's okay because our Persian doesn't even have a single Treb of his own. Where's the Savar? Okay, so Savar got 2 kills, then kind of resting on his laurels, and in comes the raiding with Farimba, and that's all she wrote. And let me know, what do you think of Deathmatch? Like I said, it seems like, on paper, it seems like such a simplistic version of the game. Oh, you start in Imperial Age, all of your technologies are researched, you don't need to build a university, you don't need to build a blacksmith, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that, oh, it's so easy, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then you look at the actual game and you realize 55,000 resources for some of these civilizations is not a whole lot, especially not when you go unique units. Right? There's some civilizations whose unique units, I'm looking at the Saracens, I'm looking at the Persians, they just can spend their money immediately. And then if you don't actually win the initial push, or if you don't repel your opponent's initial push, doesn't matter. You could start with 1 million resources. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Frost9 just gobbling up the resources to the north, starting to gobble up the resources to the south. I think our Persian saw the gold. Why didn't he go after the gold? With those that elephant run by that he did about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. Why didn't he go after this gold, I wonder? In any event, it's such a game of balancing, unless you just want to lose, or unless you just, you know, like there are all-in builds as well in Deathmatch, just like there are Huang and Red Phosphoru all-in Castle Age builds in random map games, right? So if you just want to build your big old army as the Persians, you, with your original town center, just want to build, oh, I don't know what, 7, 8 castles, and then just pump out elephants. And if that doesn't work, GG, you're welcome to do that. But if you want to build a balanced economy and then continue playing the game for 36 minutes where counter on counter on counter comes in, then you have to have a bit more of a sophisticated touch to the game. And what an absolute brilliant game. I mean, when is the last time we saw how many elephants? 169 elephants on an open map. Forget Michi, forget Rage Forest, forget Arena. This is an open map. This is basically Arabia with 170 elephants, pikemen, camel riders, and Gebetos. How many conversions do we think Frost 9 got? Well, what do you think? I'm going to say 30. 45. 45. And you know almost all of them, if not all of them, were elephants. 45 conversions out of 533 army count, 0 conversions out of 722. I mean, look at the army sizes in a 36-minute game. Economically, yeah, not terrible. Our Persian getting more resources. Our Malian really just with a gold advantage when it comes to those miners dropping off 10% more gold. Our Persian just able to pump out villagers more and more. And remember, the Persians have access to every single economic upgrade in the entire freaking game. And so their economy, if you start in post-imperial, just like a post-apocalyptic world where elephants reign supreme, and these elephants are showing their disdain to this one elephant here. This reminds me of that scene from Braveheart. Pardon me, I had to cough there. This reminds me of that one scene from Braveheart where the army just moons the other army. And these 4 elephants and Gebetos are just mooning this one elephant, saying, na 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 na, we don't really care. And what an absolute nail-biter of a game. But I think Frost 9, with the monk play and more importantly, the alleyways. Again, the Persian elephant should not be engaging in an alley. This is a unit that needs to be out in the open, or at least if in an alley, then supported and doing as much trample damage as possible. But this is an open air, open space kind of unit that needs to make use as much as possible of its giant attack and its trample damage, which I believe is half a tile, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But wow, just the conversion count. And to be fair, neither player really bringing any forward infrastructure to bear, except for that one castle that was here for a pretty short amount of time before it got destroyed. Ultimately, 79 villager kills to 39, but in a 36-minute game, almost 800 kills for our Persian, 556 for our Malian. But ultimately, even though our Persian still has a few resources, there is nothing he can do to contest the long-range death dealers of the Malian. In this case, the long-range death dealers are not only the Trebs, but the monks as well. 45 conversions. And again, I'm pretty sure almost all of those are elephants, except for those 2 bombard cannons we saw converted here earlier. But with the castles down, only 2 remaining. And how many town centers for our Persian? 11 town centers. But what are you going to do with town centers against Gebetos and now Farimba cavalry streaming across the map? You're being gutted over here to the north. You've been pushed off the wood over here. Not too sure why Maldhar didn't take the gold himself when he was here to the south. But you've now given up control of the map to your opponent. And when your opponent is running around with Farimba and Gebetos and monks and Trebs and pikemen to intercept your elephants, there's not much that you can do. And let me know in the comments, what do you think of Deathmatch? How cool is this that we get to see all the unique units? You might love it, you might hate it. It's like skirmisher wars in feudal. The community, I'm assuming, is going to be divided right down the center. I'm assuming I'm going to get a few nice messages. I'm assuming I'm going to get a few not so nice messages, but it doesn't really matter. What an epic titanic struggle. 1,300 plus kills, 45 conversions, mostly elephants. But ultimately, it is our Swedish Malian Frost 9 who takes the W. But GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.